Welcome back, everyone. It's here. And today I've got some r/best of for you all. As per usual, I'll be reading you the posts, giving you my opinions, and I hope you do the same down in the comments below. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. This post was collected by Direct Caterpillar 77, and their tagline is, "Satan is not a pogo stick." The original OP is Possible Other Women, posted February 25th, 2016. My 25 female, longtime best friend, 25 male, keeps messaging me from his honeymoon. I don't know how to end the friendship. This is a throwaway because I'm pretty sure that I'm going to get a lot of hateful messages and I want to protect my actual Reddit identity. Will and I have been friends since pretty much forever. We literally grew up together. Our mothers are best friends, we were raised by each other's families in this sort of semi-commune type situation. His mom is like a second mom to me, and mine is the same to him. We've always said that we lucked out and have two sets of parents and this huge extended family because of it. I see him as my brother. Exactly, as a brother. I feel the same way about him as I do my bio brothers. I've never had any romantic feelings for him, and it's honestly disgusting when people make jokes about that to me. I always thought it was the same for him because that's what he told me several times over the years. We all went to the same local university and lived at home, and by all, I mean me, my siblings, Will, and his siblings, to save money, and because honestly, it's a great school. So because we stayed so close, we all met everyone's significant others and really got to know them. I clicked with Will's college girlfriend, Sarah, who he proposed to last year and married last week. I couldn't be happier for them, and to have Sarah as a sister in our weird little family, which is what makes this next part even worse, because I'm not sure how to handle this. Will messaged me on their wedding night and told me that he had always loved me and had hoped that I'd feel the same way too, and he only got married to Sarah as a way to make me realize my feelings for him and fight for him. He had tried to provoke a reaction, and he didn't love her. He didn't want to be with her, and now he just wanted to tell me because he'd leave her for me, if I wanted. I didn't know what to say, so I just signed out of everything for the night and cried. Because everything about that just made me feel sick. And it was too much, just too much to process. It was like my brother was admitting incestuous feelings for me. He's messaged me throughout his honeymoon, almost all of them begging me to run away with him. And a few of them were blaming me for leading him on, which still makes zero sense to me. I've never flirted with him. I act the same way around him as I do my other siblings. Literally nothing is different. He said that he'd always seen me in his head as the other woman. Because of me, he'd never be able to fully love Sarah, who he admits is, on paper, his ideal spouse. I don't know what to do, because both of us stand to lose a lot, no matter how this all goes down. I'm afraid that I'm going to lose my family because of this, and not just his side. Everyone is close, and if I'm identified as the problem, I'm afraid that I'm going to be pushed out. But maybe that's what needs to happen. I really don't know. Reddit, how the fuck do I deal with this hugely fucked up situation? I need some outside advice, and don't have anyone in my life who doesn't know any of the people involved in this. Edit for more information. Sorry I didn't include this to begin with, but I'm not thinking 100% clearly right now. I still feel just terrible about everything. More info. Our families lived in the same house, and our parents shared parenting duties for all children. When I called out for daddy in the middle of the night as a little girl, both dads came running, for example. Our families are so intertwined, and always have been, and I feel like Will just handed me this huge bomb. I think there's going to be massive fallout from this, and that breaks my heart. We're all very close and tightly knit. I keep cycling between sad, angry, and betrayed. I'm upset because I feel like he's tasking me with breaking Sarah's heart, and I hate him for that right now. I love Sarah, possibly more than he does at this point. Too long didn't read best friend who is essentially my brother admitted feelings for me, wants me to run away with him, and I'm disgusted by it all. What do I do? Update, April 17th, 2026, 2 months later. Holy crap, has it been a stressful month. The original plan was to wait 2 weeks from the time I posted to deal with it, with Sarah and Will, but I ended up spilling the beans to my mom around 3 days after the post went up. She noticed that I wasn't my usual self and pried it out of me like moms tend to be able to do. She was flabbergasted and honestly didn't believe me until I showed her the messages on my phone. She called my dad and Will's parents into an emergency family meeting and we talked about it. I broke down crying and told them everything that I'd told you guys, and to my surprise, rallied around me in support. We all ended up crying and had a really long talk about our combined family and what this could mean for all of us. It was agreed that something somewhere went wrong, because while the sibling flag was raised in my mind, when it comes to Will, it wasn't with him. I didn't get into this in my original post, but Will and I were the youngest. We were born just a matter of days apart, and he and I are closer than we are to any of our siblings, because we always did everything together. He's my best friend, but more importantly, in my mind and my heart, he's my brother. I expressed all of that to them, and they agreed that my feelings were what they were going for when they opted for a shared family, and we all felt like this was incest. That night, we started researching local therapists who deal with situations like this, and the next day, we chose one for me to go to, because honestly, it was traumatic and I had a lot of feelings that I just didn't know how to cope with. I'm still in therapy, and it's going pretty well. I'm dealing with a lot of shit and starting to feel better. We decided to keep this between the parents and I until Will and Sarah got back from their honeymoon. The night they got back, we had a huge family dinner with her family there too. None of us, parents and I, were excited about it, but we couldn't cancel because it had been set in stone as the only time it would work for everyone for a longish period of time. I spent that night trying to keep my distance from Will because honestly, I couldn't handle being around him. He thought this was odd and ended up cornering me outside in the garden. He asked me what was up, why was I acting so weirdly? I told him he knows why, and tried to walk away. He grabbed my arm and tried to pull me back toward him, but I resisted. I ended up breaking down and telling him that I would never and could never feel the way about him that he felt about me. I saw his look of genuine confusion, and my heart and stomach sunk. He had no idea what I was talking about. Those of you who guessed that it was Sarah all along were actually correct. His phone went missing during their trip, and he hadn't cared because he was excited to be on his destination honeymoon. I told him everything. He threw up into the koi pond, and we hugged for what felt like forever. I broke down crying again because my knee-jerk reaction had been to cut him out of my life, and through sobs, I was able to get that out. He comforted me and told me that he understood because almost anyone whose friend and brother decided to hit on them would probably feel similarly. He said that he'd never hold my hurt reaction against me. We've been friends and family for way too long. We just sat there for a while because neither of us knew what to do. Because come on, this situation was fucked. Eventually, our moms came out and flipped out when they saw us together, and like amazing moms, sprung to my defense. We got them to calm down and explained everything. That it had been Sarah. And Will's mom lost her cool. She went into the house and ended up apparently tearing Sarah a new one. I don't know all of what was said because I remained outside with Will, trying to calm down from everything. Fast forwarding a bit, Will decided to divorce Sarah. It came out that she'd always been jealous when it came to me, and absolutely hated me. Her goal had been to either get me to admit feelings for Will so that he'd cut me out, or to get me to cut him out. It also came out that she had never been faithful to Will and had regularly cheated on him throughout their relationship. So honestly, he dodged a bullet, albeit a bit too late. Will's moved back in, and we're both looking at finding a place together, as roommates. And he's gotten into therapy as well to deal with everything on his end. So in the end, my world didn't collapse and my bond with my friend and quasi-brother only deepened. But he ended up heartbroken. I'm so angry at Sarah for putting us all through that, when really, she should have and could have expressed her feelings to me, and we could have probably addressed things. But then again, she was still a cheater. Just, ugh. I don't even know what to think. So I guess it's a happy update? Too long didn't read, you guys are right. Sarah was fucking crazy. Will's getting divorced, and he and I are going to live together for a while as we heal from all of this. Final comments. Why doesn't Will file for an annulment? Nope, he looked into it, but it's not an option for him in our state since he didn't enter into the marriage by force or fraud, and no party involved was unable to consent to marriage. Sarah has agreed to not contest as long as he pays for her filing fee. So, all in all, the divorce is only costing him around $600 when all is said and done. I'm chipping in to help too. Thankfully, he had a prenuptial agreement, and it clearly lays out who gets what. So she isn't taking anything that she didn't come into the relationship with, which is awesome. I'm proud of him for protecting himself. He had bought a house a couple of years ago, but doesn't want to move into it, so he's renting it out for the time being. Anyway, the divorce is as good for him as a divorce can possibly be. And he's made jokes about having a really good divorce story now. LOL. So, I think that the whole situation between the parents is that they may have been swingers once upon a time, and they don't know whose kids are whose. And they may have just decided to have one big family and one big home instead. That just makes the most sense to me. Also, those koi fish are probably dead. So, that's incredibly unfortunate. I mean, unless they clean the vomit out super quickly, but I hope the koi fish are okay. It is also not surprising that Sarah would have thought up this kind of plot, especially if she was cheating, because then the thought is, well, if I'm cheating on him, then surely he's cheating on this girl who he claims is like a sister to her, but they hang out all the time. That kind of stuff doesn't exist, so yeah, he's obviously banging her. And if not, well, I'll coax it out right here and find out. Either way, she's no longer in his life, he won't see the messages, and I will be fine, and I'll win. And she almost did. I wonder if she didn't contest the divorce because of how Will's mother confronted her, probably in front of her parents, and everyone then found out what had happened. So now she just has the pressure from everyone around her to just simply walk away amicably, or as amicable as possible, after what she did. I do wonder how the cheating came out, though. This post was collected by Direct Caterpillar 77, and their tagline is, Satan is not a pogo stick. The original OP is Zyno Girl, posted July 7th, 2016. My 15 female, aunt, 33 female, didn't invite me to her wedding while inviting my brothers, 18 and 13, and other cousins. I'm just very upset now because my aunt's wedding is soon, and I learned that I can't go to the wedding because she didn't invite me. I have a physical disability and I need crutches, but I can handle myself. The invite to our family says my parents and my brothers. My dad talked to my aunt, and she thought that the venue isn't friendly and comfortable for me, and that's why she didn't invite me. If that's the only reason, isn't that something I should decide? Maybe I can handle myself in that venue. Maybe my brother and my dad will help me if I needed help. She excluded me because I have a disability. My parents told me that I need to understand that it's her wedding, and she gets to decide who comes, and I can't be upset, and I should respect her decision. I told them that if she thinks I'm not good enough to be at her wedding, then I don't want to see her or talk to her again. But they tell me that I should continue to be a good niece and respect her and be friendly with her. I don't understand why. Do I have a right to be upset and not want to talk to her again? Too long didn't read, Aunt didn't invite me to her wedding because I'm disabled and she thinks I can't handle the venue. I'm very upset and don't want to talk to her again, but parents tell me it's not a big deal and expect me to forget about it and act as it never happened. Update, 12 days later. I talked to my parents a little more, and they decided to invite my aunt over so that her and I can have a face-to-face conversation. So, that night came. It was supposed to be me, my aunt, and my parents, but I thought 3 against 1 is unfair, so I insisted that my older brother be there too. It was so awkward. At the beginning, everyone was silent until I asked her if she can explain why she didn't invite me. She invited everyone else in our family. She repeated the same answer. That she thought that it would be difficult and uncomfortable for me. I asked how. She couldn't give an example. My brother told her that we check with the venue and it's wheelchair accessible, which isn't even needed as I only need my crutches. But that shows even people with more severe disabilities are able to use that venue. And they've had weddings where the bride or groom have been on a wheelchair. She didn't say anything, but then said once again that She thinks it'll be difficult for me to be there and not be able to enjoy the wedding like everyone else, and it would be psychologically difficult, and that's what she meant. Yeah, she pitied me. I asked if she pities me. She said it's not pity, it's genuine concern for my well-being. She doesn't want me to see other girls my age do the things I can't do and feel jealous and inadequate. My brother asked if she knows what I can or can't do, since she's never been actively part of my support. She said she has a good idea. She talked to her husband about it, and they made this decision together. At the time, I said, "Thank you, Mrs. her husband's last name," and left. My brother also followed me with a, "Goodbye, Mrs. her husband's last name." My dad asked us to come back and address her the right way, as Aunt her name. But my brother said, "Not our aunt anymore." I'm really happy that he took my side. But later I learned that my parents still intended to go to the wedding. They wanted to take our little brother too, but once he heard we're not going, he joined us in exile. I think he's too young to understand everything here, but when the older two kids are rebelling, I think he joins us out of principle. I don't know if they'll take him in the end or not, but for now, he doesn't want to go. My parents disappointed me. It feels like betrayal. I can't see how they could hear what my aunt said to me and not come to my defense. Too long didn't read. Parents had me see my aunt face to face. She thinks I can't physically and mentally handle the wedding, as I'll be jealous of other girls. She framed excluding me as a way of her concern for me. I will not talk to her again. Yeah, fuck that aunt. And your parents too, honestly, for just this behavior. If I had a disabled child, I can't even imagine looking them in the eyes and being like, "Yeah, your aunt's right. This would psychologically damage you seeing other people having fun while you're in crutches." Honestly, what you just said is probably 10 times more hurtful than her actually just seeing other people using their legs. You know, what she sees on a day-to-day basis. But by doing so, you're kind of inadvertently bringing attention to her disability, and you're kind of admitting that you only see her having the disability and not everything else that she has. It just sounds like you're defining your daughter by her disability, and that sucks. And yeah, the siblings have every right to be upset too. Good on the 13-year-old for backing down, and you might be surprised. He might actually understand and know what's going on and is willing to stand with you guys. It is wild, though, that a 13-year-old has more understanding and willingness to stand by his sister than her own parents. This post was collected by Choice Evidence 1983, and their tagline is, "It dawned on me that he was a wizard." The original OP is Aardvark Glittering 83, posted to r/mytheasshole June 15th, 2026. Okay, am I the asshole? My best friend of nearly 9 years ended the friendship after my, female 27, wedding. In 2023, I got engaged to the love of my life after nearly 6 years of dating. We waited a couple years for the wedding just because money was tight, but my parents offered their large backyard. At this time, my husband and I were playing around with the idea on what the wedding could look like. My best friend, who we will call Amy, who I reconnected with in college and had been basically by my side ever since we were 18, did something amazing and offered to help us plan. My friend and I were fairly different, but I felt meshed together well. She was very much one to go step by step, and I plan in groups and am more spontaneous. I felt like during the planning process, there were times Amy and I's ideas clashed. A couple examples. When it came to my makeup, I just planned to do it with makeup I already owned. I didn't have a full complete set, but I was willing to make do because I don't have the money to spend on new makeup. Amy, seeing my makeup, proceeded to drive me to the makeup store and use her own money to buy me new makeup. When I tried to tell her she didn't need to, she insisted it was okay. My wedding theme was tea party themed, and we wanted a variety of teacups and water glasses. We slowly gathered the cups, teacups, and teapots for the wedding. Amy was certain that the glass cups were a bad idea, and we should ditch it. I told her that it was a decoration I really wanted as a piece of the wedding, which she said wasn't a great idea, but she couldn't force it, and it was done. I want to add her family was of immense help as well. Sound system, food, etc. was provided by them. Decoration and setup/takedown was done by them and part of my family as well, but mostly them. I could not show my gratitude enough, and my husband and I swore that we would absolutely find a way to thank them after the wedding. At every turn that I said, I don't know if we'll include this, I can't really afford it, she returned with a, no, I know you and know you'd want this. We were incredibly grateful and insisted that we'd find a way to return the favor or show our gratitude. We were planning either a large fancy dinner or treating my friend to a spa date. Something. Wedding went great. Loved it all. And we all rode home in Amy's car. Amy was silent, and when I had asked if she was alright, she said she was super tired from everything, which I understood. She dropped me off at my home, and that was that. We didn't talk for 2 months after that. I wasn't too worried at first because there had been times where, when exhausted, she'd take time for herself and not talk much. But this was way too long. I eventually sent her a message letting her know that I love her, and that if there was an issue, I'd want to talk about it because I didn't want her sitting with the issue alone. She proceeded to text me, telling me that she no longer wanted to be my friend. She said that she did have issues with our friendship, and that she had been hurt many times, but she didn't want to air her grievances, her words, because she wasn't wanting to discuss it further. I felt left with no idea what happened between us, and still feel that way. Reddit, I racked my brain in every possible way to think of things I had done that hurt her feelings so much that she'd end this friendship this way. And all I'm going back to is the wedding. Looking back, I'm thinking maybe she was overwhelmed or the way my husband and I were going with planning stuff out wasn't working for her and hurting her. But anytime I had told her that my husband and I had something handled or that we were okay with things working one way and not the other, she insisted it had to be done, or else things would be greatly confusing. I'm worried that I'm an ass, and that I should have cut her from helping plan earlier, at least recognizing that our planning ideas wasn't going to be good for her, and that it'd be okay if she was just a bridesmaid instead of all else she did. I even told her if my wedding was just everyone at picnic blankets and eating deli sandwiches, we'd be happy, because it'd still be the day my husband and I got married. So I don't know, was I a huge asshole? Edit. Okay, 4 hours in, and majority is that I am the asshole overall, and I'll take that responsibility. I'll just say what I'm gathering at this point. Main reason I posted this was because I never wanted to make a fuck up this major again in a friendship. And it seriously has been weighing hard on me that I hurt someone so important to me to the point they didn't want to see me again. So thank you for pointing out my flaws. Essentially, her family did a lot and deserved more from me, even if there was denial of that from Amy. Her and my differences are separate than her family members, and even if I thank them with words, I should have had something ready for them so I could give it to them, then and there, and not to send later. That was irresponsible on my end and doesn't show the appreciation we had. I should have given something in return to Amy personally as well, probably before the wedding itself too. I should have shown that appreciation because it sounds like from what you guys have said, she left the wedding and probably just called the friendship then and there. I should have done much more for her before the wedding, so she felt that appreciation through and through, instead of letting it get to that point after and her feeling disappointed. I did bring up religion in one response, so it feels appropriate to say here. They're all LDS and Mormon, and there was expressed concern in the comments that perhaps someone had issues with them being so, and made them feel unwelcome. While I can't guarantee it didn't happen because I had guests who are friends that are not religious/LDS, I will say that I didn't witness any of it, I can be certain my family didn't, as my in-laws are also Mormon. And there's a mutual respect even if my family isn't LDS. I should have been more vigilant though, as they, again, did a lot for us, and I should have made sure they felt as special as they were for doing all of it. I need to be more responsible and notice when a friend is giving too much. I worried about it, but Amy always said she was fine, and I just accepted it at face value. I should be more aware of how my friends really are feeling. I'll be more direct and immediate in my appreciation towards people I love in the future instead of an after. To explain the 2 months thing, I just want to clarify I attempted multiple times to reach out to Amy with no response. I backed off about a month-ish in because I didn't want to seem pushy. But that doesn't excuse that, like said before. I should have done something, even before the wedding itself. Am I the asshole has no consensus bot? OP was the asshole. Relevant comments. Commenter 1. In what way did you recognize her and her family's contribution to the wedding preparation in music, food, both expenses and effort? Did you thank them publicly during the reception for what sounds like a massive amount of help? Did you send them effusive thank you cards for the help and costs they covered? At what point did you gift her a spa day? The grievances she does not want to air are probably that you took great advantage of her and her family's generosity and did not properly acknowledge or appreciate the effort they put in. Your total cluelessness suggests that something happened at the wedding. Gifts to the bridesmaids and not her. Failure to acknowledge her family. Something that made her feel unappreciated compared to others. Or that you're doing a splashy honeymoon when she covered so many costs. Or you treated her like a worker instead of a friend at the ceremony. Or you didn't invite her to the bridal party activities. Clearly, something occurred during the wedding/reception that upset her. Your lack of awareness does suggest you might be the asshole. OP responds, "We did thank the family publicly and also offered to pay, which they denied. Which brought us to the idea of larger thank yous and gifts. When it came to sending cards, I wanted to and asked my friend for the address to send. However, she refused, saying they didn't want a big thanks or anything. I think you're right, and that maybe I'm looking at the wrong things and should more reflect on how I was at the wedding/wedding activities itself, and my behavior with it." Commenter 2. Are you close with anyone in her family? Is there anyone you could reach out to and express your sincere gratitude as well as your grief and confusion about why you lost her friendship? OP responds, "Sadly, no. With her family's religious situation, I wasn't always kind of welcome? Her family is kind, but they didn't talk a lot to me because they're part of a religion that I'm not." Commenter 3. And yet they went well over above and beyond for your wedding, which clearly means they care about you, or at the very least your friend cares enough about you for them to make that effort on her behalf. I think you need to examine this issue beyond just the interactions between you and your friend. Is it possible that someone in the bridal party, or in you and your spouse's families, were unkind to your friend or her family? Is it possible that someone made small comments about their religion that you ignored or brushed off? OP responds, "Out of all proposed, there is a possibility, but nothing I heard directly being said, as I would have shut it down since it's the same religion as my husband's family. He isn't a part of it though, excommunicated. Plus, that's not cool. But I can't deny there's a small possibility and something I should have thought of. Plus, I will say others have commented other responses where I'm the asshole, so I'm taking that plus this possibility into account." Commenter 4. Amy and her family exerted all their effort and resources to pull off this wedding for you, with you, and even rode in her car, dropped you home, and you say that was that? You didn't even contact her the next day to thank her, or even ask her out for lunch as a gesture of appreciation? You don't know what happened that led to this, but you came here with a list of things you've clashed with her, but can't come up with a list of actions you can do if you're genuinely concerned about the fallout? Have you ever thought of hitting the road and visiting her personally, or even fly out, if need be, just to show you really care and are grateful as you said you were? Based from what I know here, and or the lack thereof, you're the asshole. Have you thought of showing up to her house unannounced? Commenter 5. I think this is it. She felt, and her family likely backed her up, unappreciated and taken for granted. Did you thank her and her family publicly during the wedding because they deserved a massive call-out and even some sort of fun special treatment? Did you personally thank everyone who helped you during the reception? None of this would be possible without your help. Should have been said a dozen times to a dozen people. Did you offer any gift or physical things for the help? Did you thank the family afterwards? What was the experience at the wedding like for her and her family? Were they treated like any other guests or funneled to the side at all? Were there gifts to other wedding attendees or participants that they did not also receive? Lots of unanswered questions, to be sure, but your post reads like someone who doesn't know how to show thanks and appreciation, to be honest. OP responds, totally understand, and I think this is the main thing I'm picking up on and something I can learn from. So, what I had left out because I wasn't thinking about it, all during the wedding, her and her family were given thanks publicly during the wedding and were also thanked privately before, morning of, and during takedown. I know I'm trying to sound backtracking here, but I literally cannot press enough how much "thank you so much, you have no idea how much this means to us" was said. During setup and takedown, when me or my husband had free time, we did offer to assist as well because we felt bad they were doing this for free. That was declined. In terms of thank yous and appreciation, when talking with Amy, she insisted her family would not want any appreciation gift or thank you present stuff. In the 2 months she stopped talking with me, I did ask for at least their address so I could send something. because not doing so had me feeling like I took advantage of their generosity. She never gave me the address. Honestly, I take responsibility in being the ass, as I should have totally had something for the wedding day itself and shouldn't have waited until I was home. This is not to say I'm not the ass still, but I do want to just answer the questions asked. I can't be the only one here who's actually kind of confused by Reddit's reaction. This has to involve something more interpersonal or something that happened during planning and not the appreciation aspect that Reddit's really harping on. Because Amy at every turn said, no, you don't need to thank us, or no, you don't need to do X, Y, and Z, or no, this isn't necessary. And OP just took it at face value. Like, if you ask to give someone, like, any kind of appreciation and they say, no, that's not necessary, then get mad at you for not showing that kind of appreciation that they said they didn't want, then that would make them the asshole. So I'm confused as to why Reddit's like, well, have you tried showing up to her house? Maybe I'm just fucking missing something here. I don't know. Like, I understand there is obviously a source of tension here, but I don't think OP should have, like, the blame put upon them because they didn't do something they were explicitly asked not to do, or told that it wasn't necessary. Update, June 22nd, 2026, 1 week later. To those who hadn't seen the original post, my best friend helped me plan my wedding, and there were bumps in it regarding the execution of said wedding. She helped me with so much, and so did her family. And 2 months after the wedding, she told me she no longer wanted to be friends. OG Post's judgment is overall, I'm the asshole. I'll be honest, it didn't feel great, and I ended up reaching out again with more of an apology focused on not showing enough gratitude, and that in the end, I should have had more prepped for her and the family. The response was not as expected. Never was about gifts. So, it turns out that during the entirety of the planning, I wasn't up to speed enough, nor was my husband, fiancé at the time. The examples I had listed, like the makeup, cups, and others, was actually the piling of straws that eventually broke the friendship's camel's back. I didn't list out all examples, but there were other things that occurred like them. I don't want to hide shit, so what came up? 1. We hadn't bought everything necessary, like the cups, plates, etc. in timely manner. Everything was there eventually, like a month out, but exact count wasn't given. 2. RSVPs had not come back in the time we wanted, and seating order wasn't decided until that month out. Is that it? Honestly, from what I've gotten back, it sounds like things were not as organized as hoped, and that just showed that we're just too different for the friendship to continue. It was too stressful to have an idea of what was needed, and then for that to not happen in a timely manner. Looking back, yeah, planning styles were different, and I can understand how that would absolutely piss someone off. Like one comment mentioned, and I agree, I should have noticed the signs sooner and taken more initiative to either catch up or say that my husband and I could plan this independently. What mattered more was just having her be present as a bridesmaid. I'll take it as a learning lesson and move forward with just being more mindful of the friends I have. Relevant/top comments. Commenter 1. So, yeah, you could have done better before the wedding. I'm just curious, but did you thank them eventually, like during the reception or anything? But by not telling you what the issue is, even after you've done some soul searching and are truly sorry, is petty and childish. What might have been a legit grudge has now devolved into you should know what you did territory and is not worth any more effort on your part. A conversation is a two-way street, and at this point, you're apologizing to a wall. If you share a friend group on a shared social media platform, you may want to just go out and make a public apology as a way to cover your ass in case she starts bad-mouthing you. Also include somewhere that you're not sure what you're apologizing for since she won't tell you. Then, wash your hands of her. At this point, she values her grudge against you more than your actual friendship, and why waste more of your life on something like that? Opie responds, just to answer, we did thank her during the wedding and publicly. I agree, I could have done more and appreciate your words. We don't have any shared friends, and the other bridesmaids are aware of this happening, but are my friends still. Commenter 2. I don't know if you're an asshole, and I read both of your posts. My experience with LDS members is that they're very kind, very generous, and sometimes problematically so. There was no reason for her to insist, on bearing so many of the wedding expenses. I'll even go as far as to say that it was inappropriate and a violation of financial boundaries that you tried to set, but backpedaled on when she insisted. If she felt exploited, well, it's on her for insisting on doing so much and doing it her preferred way. I suspect that she and her family were possibly hoping that you would make a donation to their church as an expression of gratitude, or if someone in their family was preparing for a mission, perhaps contributing to that cost. However, and I emphasize this, you are not a mind reader. And if you're a fly-by-the-seat-of-your-pants and wing-it kind of planner while she's a super organized and anticipatory planner, these individual differences will not work well together. It's a shame that she's holding unspoken resentment against you because ultimately, this was your wedding. There's no crime in buying tableware a month in advance, and same goes for seating arrangements. I suspect that she had unrealistic expectations and huge control issues. She bought your makeup when you didn't want new makeup. And her feelings aren't really about you, but about her. At least now you won't have to worry about kissing her ass being performatively grateful for the rest of your life. Commenter 3. So, just a theory, the ex-friend is apparently LDS. I think that's a significant detail. Mormon girls and women are raised practically from birth to be endlessly giving, self-sacrificing, and also perfectionists in everything they do. They are often quite expected to do this well past the point that it's causing them harm. They are to set their own feelings aside and take joy in giving everything they have to everyone else. Ex-friend did as was expected of her by her community and church. She was over-the-top generous, never saying a word of complaint, and insisting that, no, this is fine, I'm happy to do this, even when OP checked in on her. All the while, she was probably falling apart inside from the self-imposed perfectionism and stress of it all. This complete break in the friendship probably had a lot more to it under the surface. I really think OP just became the convenient target for all the anger and resentment and feeling taken for granted that has likely been building up inside ex-friend for years. Anger and resentment that OP had no way of knowing about, because ex-friend has never been allowed, either by her community or herself, to express it. OP, I really don't think you did anything wrong. I think there is a much bigger problem brewing inside your ex-friend that has almost nothing to do with you, and I don't think there was anything at all you could have done to prevent this rupture. That train left the station long before your wedding planning started. Yeah, but you see, did you try showing up to her house? Sometimes Reddit can give decent advice, but other times it's just kind of a, what the fuck is going on here? I'm really in the boat that OP didn't do anything wrong, and that her friend, Amy, was being very hands-on with the wedding, inserting herself to a point of failure and refusing to even admit or talk about the problems and misgivings she was having until it boiled over and she stepped away from the friendship permanently. Reddit is practically expecting OP to be omniscient and all-perfect. And the thing is, it was her wedding. Her friend was inserting herself. I mean, did you try showing up to her house or flying to her state to show up there? Did you say thank you? Did you say thank you to a dozen people a dozen times? No? Well, there it is. That makes you the asshole. That's why she's mad at you, obviously. Obviously, you took advantage of her when she offered to do something, you told her that wasn't necessary, she insisted, and refused any form of gratitude from you. Obviously, you should have just tried harder, or maybe showed up at her front door. I would actually be very curious for input for either current or ex-members of the LDS Church and just their opinions on Commenter 3's insertion of Amy essentially having the expectations of her church weighing her down and to be perfect and to be all-giving and to never complain. I think what probably happened with Reddit is this post just kind of got uploaded, the first comment was extremely negative, and then Reddit, not wanting to think for themselves, decided to dogpile and hive mind, and it turned into this. Leading OP to take Reddit at face value, then foolishly message her friend apologizing for not giving enough gifts, when that's not what the problem was, and probably did more damage than good by her asking that. This post was collected by Direct Caterpillar 77, and the tagline is, Satan is not a pogo stick. The original OP is Throwaway HotDog Guy 25, posted r/mytheasshole. Am I the asshole for beating my 25 male, girlfriend's 24 female, dad in a hot dog eating contest? Throwaway for anonymity. Okay, so the hot dog eating contest happened like 6 months ago during the summer, and I had no idea that I did anything wrong. But my girlfriend and I were arguing about something else, and she brought up the contest and said I had acted childishly. And I wanted to know if there was anything that I had to apologize for. So basically, 6 months ago, my girlfriend invited me to a food festival in her hometown. The day I arrived, I learned that there was a hot dog eating contest, and the prize would be a $100 gift card to a large tech retail store. Being a casual competitive eater in college, I decided it would be a fun idea to enter and signed up on the website. When I told my girlfriend's family I had entered the contest, my girlfriend's dad, good-naturedly, clapped me on the back and said, "Let the best man win." Apparently, my girlfriend's dad had won the hot dog eating contest for the last 4 years and was somewhat expecting to win again. Wanting the gift card, I decided to give the contest my all. I ate a bunch of hot dogs. I wasn't even paying attention on what I was doing, but by the time I was done, I'd eaten 16 hot dogs in 5 minutes, beating my girlfriend's dad, who only ate 12 hot dogs. When I was done, my girlfriend's brother Liam, 14 male, and a bunch of his friends mobbed me, calling me the Dogler, giving me high fives and clapping me on the back. They said I had dethroned the Dogler, pointing to girlfriend's dad, and that I was the new Dogler, that I was a real glizzy rizzler, or something like that, and that I was just shoving glizzy after glizzy down my gullet. They posed for pictures with me. It was weird, but kind of fun. Later, my girlfriend's dad came up to me, shook my hand, and said I was good competition. He went home to do something in his workshop, so I hung out with my girlfriend, Liam, and his friends, going around to various food stalls and games. When we all ate dinner that night, the hot dog contest didn't come up at all, except for when Liam kept referring to me as the Dogler and saying that he wanted to make a special Dogler shirt for me. We had a nice breakfast the next morning, no sign that anything was wrong. Today, though, my girlfriend brought up in our argument that her dad was actually really wounded by losing the hot dog eating contest, but just didn't say anything to me. I said if I wasn't supposed to enter the contest, then was it really a contest at all? And she said that it was less about the contest, but about the special Dogler shirt. Liam made his dad a Dogler shirt for the years he won the contest, but I got the Dogler 2024 shirt. She said that her dad only wanted to win the contest to connect with Liam, and if anything, I should be able to understand the masculine ego. So, Reddit, am I the asshole? Edit, I posted the shirt. For those of you wondering, this is definitely kind of like an edgy font that's just made of straight lines. It says the Dogler with some clip art of a hot dog. Actually, this might be drawn. This is probably handmade. This is... yeah, this is handmade. On the back, it says you can't beat the glizzied Rizzler. Verdict, not the asshole. Relevant comments. Deleted user. Not the asshole. You didn't really have any idea this was an important family tradition and moment until after you signed up. And who has control of the actions of a crowd of 14-year-olds anyway? That said, all this tension for a gift card is kind of insane. I hope you got something good with the prize money. Opie responds, well, she did tell me that it was a tradition, but I didn't think it was as big of a deal as apparently it is. I got a couple of video games I've been eyeing. Finances have been kinda tight recently, so it was nice. User Shryukin23 comments, I mean, if it's a tradition, Dad, if anything, should be proud that if he was gonna lose, it was to you, his progeny's significant other. User Drake22 comments, not the asshole, when we all ate dinner that night. So, you had dinner after eating 16 hot dogs? Opie responds, I ate some green beans, I think, but man, the toilet was destroyed. User Bring Say the Aliens comments, well, I'm certainly glad you added that detail, Dogler. User Ghoulie Gumdrop comments, if the dad really is wounded, it sounds like he at least has the good sense to be embarrassed about how ridiculous that is and doesn't want you to know. There were no ill intentions on your behalf. You should celebrate your hot dog guzzling abilities with no shame. Opie responds, I actually won the Buffalo Wild Wings Blazing Challenge a couple of years ago. User Introverted Duck 120 comments, let me break it to you, man. This isn't about the hot dog eating contest. Your girlfriend is clearly mad about something else and she's choosing this moment to take it out on you. I'd say sit down with her and ask to have a frank conversation, pun intended. But it's also up to her to communicate with you. You're not a mind reader, and I find it worrying that your girlfriend expects that from you. Not the asshole. Opie responds, yeah, she's been upset since I've been working with home. The startup still needs more time to pull in some money, so she's had to make some tough choices. Update, the next day. Okay, as a little update, my girlfriend found this post, She was a little mad at first, but overall our original argument kinda went away because I put all my clothes in the dryer, and luckily I booked 2 consultation appointments, so that part of the argument went away as well. The hot dog thing was kind of just a bonus jab she threw in my face when she found the Doggler shirt in the washer. She didn't really care about it now. She agreed to stop bringing stuff up a long time ago and said she accidentally over-exaggerated how sad her dad was about the contest. So overall, things are nice. She's a little surprised and upset at the amount of posters that suggested we break up. Also, I was a little surprised by the people who called me the asshole just for entering an eating contest. Also, after a lot of asking, I've decided to post a shirt. I smoked a little too much before I fell asleep and forgot to take the shirt out of the dryer before I spent all day running my business. But I remembered now. I posted the shirts to Imager. Had to make an account on Imager for this, so I hope you're happy. I am glad you and your significant other worked it out, but I really hope she doesn't continue to bring things up as ammunition in future arguments, because that is definitely a very unhealthy tactic for approaching arguments. Sounds like, though, from the reaction and how you guys talked through it, it was just a bad day and emotions got heated. Although, to be honest, I'm not surprised that Reddit jumped to that because they tend to jump to that shit all the time. Oh, you had a single argument with your girlfriend? Yeah, break up with her. How dare you not know that the hot dog eating contest was so near and dear to his heart? You're definitely not just the asshole, but you're a monster. Have you tried going to his house? I fucking hate this site sometimes. So, we're in the outro. Don't really have too much to add right now or say. Things are going pretty good, honestly. Y'all have been using the absolute hell out of Code Oz, and that's been super cool. Whether it's using the code to get free samples or whether it's to actually get some tubs, it's been a lot of traffic. Like an absolutely shocking amount, and I don't really know what to do with this kind of information except for thank you guys for trusting me on this one, and this is cool. Hopefully I'll have some updates and pictures and whatnot of, all the office renovations that I'm doing soon, so I'll be able to post them and show off, but it has been a hell of a process, and I'm hoping that things go well. Even after yesterday. We don't talk about it. Anyways, I'll catch y'all later.